Last time on Is It Mid?
Flawless victory. Fatality.
And now...
Let us begin, Dominique. We will start with that accursed hospital.
Okay, so here's a good moment for me to explain. You remember that thing back there where Dominique turned into a robot and destroyed all the members of AFI? Well, that has to do with Dauragon's backstory. We've gotten a couple of cutscenes up until now that have explained Dauragon's tragic past, which is that he was an orphan along with his sister, trying to find a hospital to take her to because she was dying. But the hospital said we have too many people, so, you know, see ya, fuck off. So anyways, this is where Dauragon finds Master Mikado, with his inconspicuous as fuck Chinese master, both in the limo. They find Dauragon and his sister and bring them to his mansion. But the sister dies, unfortunately, but he still raises Dauragon like his own son to be the head of the Mikado Corporation, as well as having the kung fu knowledge of Wong. But, feeling bad for Dauragon for losing his sister, Master Mikado decided to create an immortal female robot to pretend to be his sister. And then I guess Dauragon didn't care about his robot sister enough, so he let her escape from the corporation, and she fell in love with the bouncer. But Dauragon eventually decided he actually cared about his robot sister, so he decides to send his gimp suit ninjas to go retrieve her in an effort to bring it up to the microwave-powered satellite, which will then power up its death cannon capabilities so that he can finally blow up the hospital as revenge. This shit is fucking But before that, we have to kick this dog 15 more times so we can figure out that Sion had a previous girlfriend that he thought died in an explosion at Mikado Corporation, but actually this was a cover-up to use Bionoid technology to convert her into a Bionoid, which means she could become a dog now, but it also aged her like 10 years, so now she looks 28 instead of 18, which means Sion doesn't want her, which means she has to die.
Dauragon. He's lonely. I must be by his side.
Silence! I've no need for such pathetic sympathy from a Bionoid. Bastard!
Stop it, Dauragon.
Or it might pretend to give a shit.
With this satellite, I will provide unlimited energy to those who will follow me, and I will demonstrate what happens to those who cross me.
You're going to rule the world with a satellite?
Human beings want to be controlled. They forsake those who offer no benefit. They laud those with power. They can do nothing for themselves. Mankind's true desire is to be dominated by absolute power.
Dominique, stop!
What's wrong, Dominique?
I don't think your sister agrees with you.
Sister? This useless puppet?
You're the one who created Dominique.
I'll take you on with both arms. This is your reward for being such a nuisance.
Alright, so it's time to stop Dauragon from blowing up any more hospitals. He's a real asshole too. They perfectly programmed this guy to be able to deal with you and your implied intelligence allies. Even if you manage to whittle this jerk down, he has a second form where he takes off his jacket and he heals all his health, and you don't. Oh no. God damn it, what am I supposed to do? He killed all my friends. I mean my bouncers.
The Bouncer!
What am I supposed to do? You know what? I'm just gonna take this all on my own. I gotta focus on myself. Fuck the bouncers. It's about the bouncer. Yeah!
This can't be. I'm a
Bouncer!
I make a living putting my life on the line.
Oh no.
Hey, we're gonna ram the satellite. Volt, change course.
I saw it in that horrible dream. This big ship splits into two.
In your dream?
It's true.
I'm gonna trust Dominique.
Sion,
Well, it's all or nothing.
I'm in.
All right then.
But Dominique was wrong, and they shouldn't have trusted her.
Sion, that horrible dream was real, wasn't it?
Don't worry. You won't have any more of those dreams. Rest in peace, Kaldea.
So all's well that ends well. Sion gets to look incredibly suspicious dating Dominique in his 50s and dies eventually. And then Renoa's dog from Final Fantasy VIII shows up. But what if I told you that's not it? Well, you're right, figured. Whatever. Let me have this. First, let me mention these screens that are sometimes present during loading screens. Like maybe 1 out of 3 times you come back from a cutscene after a fight, it will display this screen of text, silhouette, creepy render, and timestamp. And if your disc hasn't been getting kicked across the carpet for a few days, you're not gonna have time to read any of it. So, what's up with the other 2 bouncers in this? Volt's backstory was that he was in a gang of some sort, and then he got jumped by the mob. The mob boss said he would leave him alone if he killed Mr. Mikado, but Mr. Mikado was so ballsy that Volt decided to work for him instead. That's where he met Echidna, who wanted to fight him, but he didn't fight women. So, Echidna conspired with Dauragon to kill Mr. Mikado and blamed it on Volt, so he was shot twice in the head and thrown into the ocean. Then some old man found him on the shore still alive. Since Volt had nowhere to go and the old man had a bar, he asked Volt if he wanted to become the bouncer, but told him he would have to plug his gunshot wounds with some horns, which are apparently normal body piercings. After you beat up Echidna 3 different times and kill her boss, she decides she loves Volt and also becomes the bouncer. Kou's story was that he was born a natural genius in intelligence and in the arts. But he wanted to learn martial arts, and his mom didn't like that, so he left his wealthy and notable family. He easily became the best at that too, but the master wouldn't let him inherit the dojo because of his family or whatever, so he decided to become a secret agent instead. He performs good enough to get another agent named Leanne promoted because he has a crush on her, so Kou's next mission is to watch over the robot sister that Mr. Mikado made Dauragon, which is able to power a satellite death beam or something. At this point, he gets his tattoos. That's very important. Throughout the game, various weird things, like a plane shooting at the train you're hitching to Mikado HQ, are revealed to have been done by Leanne for some reason. She's also part of the firefight that occurs after Mikado takes off on the Gallios. This also explains what Kou is doing on the phone half the time. Unlike Volt though, Kou has a special boss fight at the end against Leanne, who the agency has ordered to fight him because he didn't keep the bouncer from happening. After he wins, he asks her out and she says no and the game ends. Sion's story was that he was homeless for some reason and following the local wushu master of the future around wanting to be tough like him. He said he was too hungry to fight, so Master Sensei told him to jump off a cliff, but he was joking. Then Wong raised him and he met Kaldea, and then Wong disappeared. Then Kaldea got a job at Mikado, then died in an explosion, and no one cared about the evidence or anything, I guess. So with his martial dad and his girlfriend gone, he starts wandering the street telling people to kill him, though still putting up a fight for some reason. So someone sends him to the bar called Fate, where Volt kicks his ass, and the ever-fucking strange barkeep asks him if he wants to be
The bouncer.
We've followed his adventure since then, but there's two things left to mention. So, like Kou, Sion has a special boss fight unique to the end of his story. Poor Volt got the shaft, I guess, but for Sion's, you need to specifically not play as Sion. At any point, he would have learned that his ex-girlfriend Kaldea is alive, and also the Panther Woman. So, when the gang splits up and when you fight her later on the Gallios, only then, after you defeat Dauragon, you get a special flashback of Sion and Wong fighting in this unique area. I have no clue what thinking brought this on, and I would love to speak to whoever made the decision for these bros before hoes requirements. But finally, after everything, this game has one last challenge to present to you. After beating the game as all three bouncers once, on your third playthrough, Dauragon will have a third form. And oh boy, is this the bouncer's last cry to keep you from putting this disc away and moving on. Because he is a jerk. You get absolutely no healing, just like last time, so you better hope that you did perfectly the first two fights or you're doing all three over again. Afterwards, Dauragon is happy that he got his ass kicked 3 times and dies. This explains why his overall straps were off when he floated in space. Now that the story is covered, let me briefly go over the gameplay. This game apparently has a thing with DualSense controllers where how hard the button is pressed determines what attack you do. I don't recall ever even dealing with this, I must have some heavy ass thumbs. Every character starts with a basic combo and a move that knocks the enemy down. After every battle, your performance determines how many bouncer points you get to level up your stats. You can also get new abilities that range from amazing to shit, with the former represented by Kou's hitbox incarnate kicks, and the latter being all of Volt's throws. It's not that deep, which makes the difficulty in the bonus survival mode absolutely insane, with no healing between stages, even with all the main characters you fight in the story being usable, and some being overpowered. It's just taxing. But let me get into one of my favorite details about this game, the voice acting. The English dub for this game is genuinely not bad and gets the characters across pretty well. I would be remiss in not mentioning Kou is voiced by Steve Bloom, the English voice of Spike Spoogle from Cowboy Bebop, and also the English voice actor for Goku from Dragon Ball.
You look strong. This should be a good fight.
Of course, he does a great job here.
No worries, princess. Even though the boss looks cheap, he's got a sizable fortune. It's all good. Ever since you arrived, Sion's been opening up to us too, thanks to you.
But I especially wanted to point out the Japanese dub because they truly got an all-star cast. Volt is voiced by the late Daisuke Gori, the voice of Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball Z. This is crazy. It's very interesting to hear him doing a genuinely tough and badass character.
この俺を忘れたとは言わさんぞ、ドラガン。
Meanwhile, as far as Kou, he is voiced by Ryusei Nakayo, the voice of Frieza in Dragon Ball, and Mayuri Kurosuchi in Bleach.
それでは100年後までごきげんよう。
What a weird fucking thing to hear. This guy perfectly pulls off two of the creepiest, detestable critters of all time. And in this game, he plays a cunty little fuckboy.
そりゃまた大胆な。で、くださいって頼むのか？では行きますか、お嬢さん。
こうなの？いまいち不安だな。
贅沢言うんじゃねえの。
頼むぜ、コウ。
さあ行きますか、お姫様。
苦しゅうない。しっかり頼むぞよ。
It's so great to hear, and probably one of my favorite things about this game. Meanwhile, the main villain of the bouncer is voiced by Noriko Wakamoto, the voice of Cell in Dragon Ball Z, which I want to have as much aplomb over as the previous entries, but honestly, I prefer the performance of Richard Cancino in the English version. He's far more hammy, which I think Dauragon should be, the drama queen.
Eastern cultures, they say there's only one way to repay one's master, by surpassing him. This is my payback to you, master. You could never understand the humiliation that I have gone through. The burden of having to be the best, of having to be worthy.
So, The Bouncer. What do I think about it? Well, overall, it's a batshit crazy story with some interesting characters packed into a beat-em-up adventure game. It's not mid. It's unique. I can't even think of a game by the same studio that manages to simultaneously be so grounded as well as so off-the-walls batshit crazy. Yes, I could honestly see myself replaying this game for all of the fun that it gave me in the end. Oh, I almost forgot. Let me discuss the music made by Noriko Matsueda, who would work on the soundtrack for Final Fantasy X-2 later, love that OST, and Takahito Eguchi. The music in this game is great, and it punctuates the action extremely well. The escape will always be in the back of my head, and LUKIS Covert OP is a fun listen. Genuinely, I have no complaints. But my biggest compliments are for the credits theme. The song is called Love is the Gift by Sunny Hilden. And I hope if you've gotten to this point in the game, or even in this review, that you have the same emotions I do about the Bouncer. I may not be in love, but it's truly a gift. Love is a gift.
Game over. Game over. See. See. Yeah. Game over.
And finally, what you've all been waiting for, the explanation on why this video took so long to come out. Well, it turns out that the bouncer seems to be programmed in a way that if you try to change your language options on your fully cleared game that you have several hours into and save it from the options menu, what ends up actually happening is you save over your game with data of nothing. So that was a very fun thing for me to learn, and I'm glad that I have it all on recording right now so I could watch back myself losing hours of progress playing this godforsaken game. Oh, look, it says game cleared. Oh, yes, definitely save that, you fucking idiot. Save complete. Alright, and now let's go load it. What does it say? Oh, nothing. Yeah, let's load that nothing, that playtime nothing. I wish I recorded my reaction because I haven't even noticed yet at this point. I'm distracted doing something else. I'm paying attention to something else. That's why I'm not even... I don't even know if I knew I was recording at this time. But yeah, I'm like, alright, let me do my subtitles. Go back so that I can get the Japanese playthrough. And time to load up my game. Time play some extra game with all my points. Yeah. Let's start that new file. Not applicable. Why did they make the game like this? Not applicable. I was just sitting here staring at this. Like, what do you mean? Not applicable. I've spent so much time on this game already. You're telling me that I have to start all over? Fuck this shit. I'm putting this video on the shelf. I'm not even gonna work on it for like 2 months. and that's why the intro it says that this video was supposed to come out in April because it was supposed to. I just left this screen open. I'm just like probably pacing back and forth at this point like fuck. I'm a fucking idiot. How did I do this? Square Enix playing me. This is Square Enix punishing me for playing on emulator for sure. Look, I have the mouse and I'm just like circling shit. I'm like in the 7 stages of grief right now. Oh, how terrible. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day.
Understand the humiliation that I have gone through.